everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, my name is Komal Dadlani, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Lab4U, where we are democratizing science and changing the way science is taught. I'm a biochemist, and during my science education, this is what it looked like. It was very theoretical, lots of formulas, and when I think about it, it was as if my father was teaching me how to ride a bicycle reading a book. Whereas to actually learn how to ride a bicycle, you need to live the experience of riding a bike. Just like in science. To actually learn science, you need to live that experience of scientific experimentation. But to do that, you need equipment, which unfortunately is expensive. And these are some of the examples. And as a consequence, 88% of the schools in Latin America don't have any science labs. And not only that, if you go to schools that do have science labs, for example, in the US, you'll see that this equipment is not used. It might be because of the student-equipment ratio, or one of the other problems that we have in this region is that many STEM teachers need help and they're not prepared. So we have here a multi-factor problem, right? Science equipment is expensive, teachers need help, and in the end, students don't engage. So to democratize science and change the way science is taught is where Lab4U comes into place. So for the first time in human history, we have more than 4 billion smartphones, a massive vehicle that has more computing power than the first computer that took the man to the moon. And you all know, but many don't know, that smartphones and tablets have several built-in sensors that are normally used for games, navigation, you take a selfie, or you hail in Uber, but not for science education. So what we do, we take all these sensors, like the camera, the microphone, the accelerometer, and we transform it into a complete science lab. And here are some examples. So our first product is Lab4Physics, that uses these built-in sensors. So you see students here, centripetal acceleration, pendulum movement, getting the data in real time. Here students are learning the difference between distance and displacement, force, mass, and acceleration, and experimenting real time. With chemistry, you can calculate the concentration of a solution based on color. So we take a picture, process the image, and calculate the concentration of a solution. Or with biology, you can transform it into a microscope. And in that way, we empower students and teachers to experiment with this lab in your pocket. So these are the three products that we have. The first one is Lab4Physics, where we've already developed pre-designed content. We have tools, we have a teacher portal, experiments aligned to NGSS. It's in English and Spanish. We understand the reality in Latin America, so our product works offline. So in classrooms that there's no Wi-Fi, you can actually download the experiments and use it as well. We believe teachers play a very important role inside the classroom, so we have a teacher portal that supports teachers with pedagogical material, with curriculum alignment, instructions, and the pedagogy supporting inquiry-based learning. So the teacher goes to a portal and sees all the objective descriptions and even lab reports for each experiment. Next. So all our experiments have a structure where students think, build, they measure, they analyze. So we believe that this is an integral educational solution. So the students and the teachers experiment with the device, then the teacher has the teacher portal and professional development, and for the decision maker, we have the support and the metrics that they need based on how many students are running experiments, etc. So over the course of months and years, we have grown. We started with 1,000 students, and between the different projects, government projects, etc., we have grown, and now we have more than 100,000 users using Lab4Physics, our first product around the world. We started in Chile, then Mexico, and now in the US, but we have users all around the world. And this is one example of our implementation.
All children love to create, to experiment. One of the best things about Lab4U is that without a whole lot of explanation, they're able to take that tool and start creating experiments.
Today we did a skateboard experiment with Lab4Physics, and pretty much what we did in that is we tested the iPad on different surfaces.
We're sliding down the iPad to see and measure the speed it goes down based on the distance and time. And we're teaching the little kids how to do that so that they can learn a little more too. I love doing those because it's more fun than worksheets. I prefer to work with things that are in my hands.
And this is one of the examples of how we've implemented Lab4Physics with different classrooms. So today, students have done more than 170,000 experiments in our platform. We have models where school purchases or districts or governments, we have public and private partners around the world. One of our corporate partners is actually
Normally in a
Toyota.
classroom, we would use a toy car to run fun experiments, but today we're going to use something bigger. We've marked 25 meters behind me. Using the Lab4Physics app, we're going to analyze the position versus time graph of a moving object every 5 meters. What's great about this app is that it enables students to capture real data using the sensors that are already built in a smartphone, and you can relate that to real-life examples.
So that's an example of how we've partnered with corporations in order to reach out to more schools and students. We have schools all around the world, and you can imagine why students and why schools and universities actually love our product. We believe in lifelong learners. If we compare to the traditional lab equipment, we are a low-cost solution with high engagement. This is, a picture with students with Lab4U, and this is students with no Lab4U, and you can compare, how they're experimenting and in the traditional classroom. We're also doing some efficacy tests where we see where students that do more than 6 experiments actually have higher academic performance. These are pictures that teachers share with us, social media. In the US, it's more Twitter. In Latin America, it's more Facebook and WhatsApp. This is our multidisciplinary team where we've received a couple of national and international awards. And we believe that the future is here. Just like companies like Uber, world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. We believe that Lab4U can be world's largest educational lab experience provider, owning no lab equipment. Talent is universal, but opportunities are not. And we believe that real-life problems are going to be solved with a good understanding of science. And that is why we want to give everyone the opportunity to have this lab in the pocket so that the next Einstein or Marie Curie can come from anywhere in the world. Thank you very much. Here's my email if you have any questions. Happy to answer.